First, he took us to church. Now, a decade later, success is sweeter for Hozier. The Irish-born singer-songwriter's latest hit, Too Sweet, has reached #2 on the Billboard Hot 100. It comes after his third album, Unreal Unearth. As he embarks on a world tour, our Will Reeve sat down with him for our latest Prime playlist.
It's a Too Sweet return to the charts for superstar Hozier. It's the Irish singer-songwriter's third studio album, Unreal Unearth, and accompanying EP, Unheard. The album drawing from the collective experience of the pandemic, and it invokes a seminal ancient poem that takes the reader through each layer of hell.
I kind of moved into moments that felt a little bit surreal, you know. The album also plays with Dante's Inferno. There's a lot of mythological figures sort of nodded to throughout the record. And then Unearth that feels not like itself. But then Unearth also to dig, so playing with that. So to dig and uncover and discover.
Perhaps the most emblematic song of the album, De Selby Part 1.
When all of the world is asleep.
Melancholic, solemn, and a nod to Hozier's Irish roots.
On the surface, it's a simple folk song. I wanted that song to sort of offer the mission statement of what the record was. The song is playing with this idea of darkness, that in a dark place, if you can't see yourself, it's safe to assume you don't exist anymore.
Unreal Unearth debuted at #1 on Billboard's Top Rock and Alternative Albums chart.
This was the first album where I went into a space with a few musicians and with, you know, a producer and jammed some ideas out.
Rolling Stone saying the singer's trip into the depths of desperation and agony doesn't just succeed in exploring that dark emotional world, his painful ascent makes the listener immediately want to climb with him. Adding, the result is his best album yet. Before Unreal Unearth, his debut album came a decade ago, with a breakout single that turned into a mega hit.
Just how quickly people have taken to some of the work has been incredibly encouraging.
Take Me to Church propelled Andrew Hozier Byrne to global fame and one-name status.
Take me to church, I was like a dog at the shrine of your light. I'll tell you my sins.
Certified 13 times platinum, it also became one of the top 30 most streamed songs on Spotify and landed Hozier a nomination for Song of the Year at the 2014 Grammys.
Take Me to Church, I was coming at it from the perspective of an Irish person dealing with the legacy of the institutionalised Roman Catholic Church in Ireland and the harmful nature of that legacy.
It's about as big as a song could possibly get. How did you experience that?
I think the second time I ever performed in front of a lens, you know, was like the David Letterman show, you know, so it's like, it was a lot.
So ladies and gentlemen from Ireland, please welcome Hozier.
My lover's got humor. She's the giggle at a funeral.
There's a lot of noise, there's a lot of glitter and roar in a time like that, and I just tried to keep grounded and keep work-oriented.
One of my favorite live performances of yours came here in this city, below this city actually, in the subway.
Right, yeah.
I love that.
They look tasty, they look plenty. This is hungry work. Take me to church.
It was quick. It was like within a few hours we were like, okay, let's head down there, little keyboard and a bucket for a drum type thing. But it became like a little bit of a viral moment.
Hozier released his sophomore album, Wasteland Baby, in 2019, touring to a wide audience, playing his soulful hit, Nina Cried Power, which spent 6 weeks on Billboard's Rock and Alternative chart.
You're still getting to grips with the creative process beyond just the music. They definitely broadened my understanding of what you got to show up for as a recording artist.
It took a while for Hozier to grow comfortable with fame, Well before that, just singing in public brought stress.
So growing up, my dad was a gigging musician. He was a full-time, drummer, primarily playing in kind of like rock and roll groups. I was always a kid who sort of had like a boy soprano voice, and so for nearly as long as I can remember, maybe 5 or 6, I was kind of pressured into singing. So I really resisted singing in front of people, in front of crowds. It wasn't until I was about 12 or 13 I started singing kind of like rock and roll stuff with friends from school and started to enjoy that.
As an artist, Hozier says he seeks truth and authenticity, North Star's apparent in Unreal Unearth.
So much of your music has either political or philosophical or moral messaging to it. Did you find that a tougher magic trick to pull off as you gained in popularity and mainstream success?
It finds its way naturally into the work. So it's not something that I find hard or I have to push hard to do or try hard to do. I feel like I'm in a place where I'm starting to kind of walk in step with myself. Every time you release something, you have a different relationship with yourself as an artist.
Last month, Hozier released 4 new tracks from his latest EP, Unheard. Too Sweet reaching number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. His first top 10 song since Take Me to Church.
The making and releasing of this has encouraged me and excited me to work more, work further. It's also just a pleasure to have a third album to play in a live setting as well too, to have more material to draw from.
And there'll be plenty of live settings as he's set to perform across 30 states for his new tour.
Audiences in the States, incredibly generous with and incredibly animated in the way that they're having a good time. They really express that. That's a wonderful audience to play to. And so yeah, it's a buzz.
Our thanks to Will and Hozier for that conversation.